All right, so let's take a look at what's happening on our local dailies on this 16th day of November 2021. On the front page of the Star newspaper, Uhuru men plan grand reception for Raila in Nyeri. Yeah, that's on the front page of the Star. Uhuru men plan a grand reception for Raila in Nyeri. It says that meeting comes 3 days before Jubilee NDC, where Kenyatta will endorse coalition with ODM. Ruto will be expelled. Councils of elders from Luo and Kikuyu communities will meet on November 26th before that event. All right, court upholds spouse rights to be registered on property. This is something that in the past we've even discussed about it here. It all started as a joint venture between a husband and wife who decided to shop for a house in 2007. They finally settled on a house in the leafy suburbs of Lavington. They agreed that the property would be registered and owned jointly. I will tell you what happened next and how the court decided that the name of the spouse to be registered on the property. Agencies spent 72 million shillings to list 100 voters. That is according to IEBC acting CEO Hussein Marjan, who said that the IEBC spent about 1,000 shillings to register just one voter during the 3-day extension ordered by the court. IEBC acting CEO Hussein Marjan said yesterday, actually told the MPs that the commission registered fewer than 100 new voters despite spending 72 million shillings for the 3 extra days. Okay, and on the front page again there is a recruitment of KDF officers that started yesterday, and the KDF now says that there will be no corruption or bribery that will be tolerated during that exercise. So that is there. State agencies free to bid IEBC in IEBC 2022 ballot boxes tender. The government agencies will be free to supply ballot boxes to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission for next year's general election. The IEBC has invited bids from both state and non-state entities to supply the boxes under an open national competitive tender due to be closed on November 30th. So the IEBC has also said this, such entities would be considered if they are operating under commercial law and are vested with legal rights and liabilities similar to any commercial enterprise. I think that's important to note there. Again, 4 police officers jailed for death of Alexander Monson. The 4 were jailed yesterday after they were found guilty of manslaughter of Briton Alexander Monson. That happened in 2012 in Diani, and they will have, that's according to High Court Judge Eric Ogola, who said on Monday that the 4 officers, Naftali Chege, Charles Munyiri, Ismail Baraka, and John Pamba, should be held responsible for the death of Alexander. Okay, and very quickly, yesterday was President Mwai Kibaki's birthday, and Uhuru Kenya celebrate Mwai Kibaki as he turns 90. He was remembered for growing economy, commitment to expand infrastructure, etc., etc. And finally, Kenyatta allies plan grand reception for Raila in Nyeri. President Kenyatta's allies from central Kenya are preparing the ground for a major political gathering to endorse Raila Odinga's 2022 presidential bid next week. The endorsement on November 27th in Nyeri will come just 3 days before the Jubilee National Delegates Conference, where Deputy President William Ruto will be formally expelled as the second in command. And at the NDC, Uhuru is expected also to reveal his succession plans as he endorses a 2022 pre-election pact with ODM's Raila Odinga. And 9 days after the Jubilee NDC, Raila will officially declare his presidential bid that insiders in his camp call his best shot. So before the Saturday event, the Luo and Kikuyu Council of Elders are to hold a historic meeting in Nyeri on November 26th to help thaw the relationship between the two communities. The involvement of the elders from both sides will be a symbolic ending of the perception about bad blood between the Kikuyu and the Luo communities dating back to the days of Jomo Kenyatta and then President Jomo Kenyatta and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. interesting times ahead, politically speaking, and for our country. Jain.
All right, let me now run you through the front page of the Daily Nation, and we start with a bit of politics, just to pick up from where you left off. Ruto takes on Odinga allies in Mount Kenya region. He is currently on a tour of the Mount Kenya, is it East? Mount Kenya East area, and yesterday he did take a swipe at some of the Mount Kenya leaders that are supporting ODM leader Raila Odinga. And he was, it's a 3-day tour in the Mount Kenya East region. And yesterday he was actually speaking and did mention Meru Governor Kiraitu Murungi and he actually criticized him, saying, in his own words, saying that Governor Kiraitu Murungi should know that we are no longer fools. Kiraitu should not take us for a ride by imposing Raila Odinga on the people. Let him abandon Mr. Odinga and, serve the people. They should not force the people to vote for people that they do not want. And he went on further to say that let me get this statement here. Something to do with auctioning off. Yes, here we go. He accused Mr. Odinga of messing up with the Jubilee's administration agenda, saying that there is no way the Jubilee could have governed for 2 terms on the strength of 8 million votes, then get auctioned off to the very same leader, that is Raila Odinga, that was against the grain, who has been a huge source of setback for the achievements of the Jubilee government. He said that once he ascends to power, his administration would prioritize advancing the Big Four agenda by creating jobs and promoting small businesses, and went on further to say that he would actually set aside some 50 billion Kenya shillings annually. That would be for affordable loans, as well as another 100 billion for the Big Four agenda. He was speaking as he is said to have dished out about more than 4 million Kenya shillings to traders and border riders, where he did make a stop in Ruiru town. And this makes, that was day 1 of his Mount Kenya East tour, campaign tours. Now, coming still to politics, we have Raila Odinga, who is in the coast, and here they talk of how coast ODM leaders snab Raila rallies. It's interesting we're having this conversation with you, Victor, just yesterday, looking at how this tour, ODM leaders, Raila Odinga's tour in the coast, how it would play out. But so far, it is said that ODM party leader, as he continues to tour the coast, he has been receiving a cold reception on his 2nd day of the coastal area, as key leaders absconded his functions, and he actually skipped a function in Kilifi where he was expected to open an ODM office for unspecified reasons as to why he did not go for this particular function. But he was hosted by the Kilifi chairperson, Jain Wambui, who has been hosting the leader. And he was also accompanied by a few other leaders from that particular region. But we'll be giving you more details as per what the papers have captured for us this morning. Coming to the main read, pay boom for civil servants and teachers. They are set to be the biggest winners in the 2022-2023 financial year. And looking at what this particular caption has for us here, in Uhuri's final year, the Teacher Service Commission will receive an extra 15 billion Kenya shillings, which will go towards pay rises and the hiring of new teachers, while civil servants are also set for a salary increment following the allocation of an extra 70.8 billion Kenya shillings to ministry for recurrent expenditure. And this comes as good news given the SRC had suspended the salary increment for a period of 2 years in July. Now, let me see what else has been captured here. Of course, Kibaki at 90, Emilio Stanley Mwai Kibaki on his 90th birthday. It said that it was another day, a workout, a walk, catching up with news and reading books as he marked his 90th party, his 90th birthday rather. We did hope he had a mini party right there. And finally, the story concerning the jailbreak as 3 terror convicts escape from committee. And of course, we've been able to get an update in regards to the story from Regina. And speaking of Regina, what do you have for us on your paper today?
Well, quick summary of what we have on the front page of the Standard. That story about the terror issue there. Remember, security apparatus has been on high alert in regard to matters terror. Remember, last week, as you came to the word last week, apparently a terror suspect was trying to bribe a police officer with 180,000 shillings for information as to, when a particular outlet, an entertainment joint is full to capacity with revelers there. What they did not know, what that terror suspect did not know, was that they were trying to bribe a security personnel, and that led to their arrest. Elvian Bwire is still at large. His whereabouts are still unknown. And yesterday we had a prison break from Committee Maximum Prison there of 3 terror convicts there. One of them was, serving jail term in relation to the Garissa University attack that left 148 people dead. The other was convicted over, an attempt to bomb the parliament buildings there. Well, the other was arrested in our Kenya-Somalia border trying to join the Al-Shabaab. Any information that may lead to their arrest, the DCI is offering 60 million shillings. Let's be our brother and sister's keeper. Developing news in regard to that matter is that 7 wardens are in police custody there as investigations are underway, with Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i alluding to the fact that there must be some abating there and laxity from the police apparatus within that particular maximum prison there. Said that it's one of the most, the secure prisons that we have in the country. So we'll be keeping tabs as it is. Then also matters of what is happening in as far as matter sports are concerned. The front page of the Standard there, where we have FKF President Nick Mwendwa, who was in the Milimani Law Courts yesterday there, and where police sought to arrest him for 14 days as they complete investigations. This came at a time when FIFA was also calling on the government to reinstate the FKF committee and drop the caretaker committee that had been set up by the CS Sports there, Amina Mohammed. We're going to be keeping tabs on that. That is just a sneak peek of what we have on the Standard, including no entry for Le General. This is Megona again. So lawyers say Air France received instructions from Kenya not to fly him to Nairobi. This made serious headlines there, and also social media was abuzz. What other alternatives can the General use to get to Kenya? This is a conversation that is still ongoing. We'll be keeping tabs in the event that we have any developments in that area. So matters of business also, we're going to be talking about, rich Kenyans, why they're storing or rather keeping their cash in dollars and not in shilling at a time when, the value of the shilling is really depreciating against the greenback. Just a quick sample of what we had on the front page of the Standard this morning.
Stephanie.
Okay, so let me go ahead. So on the People's Daily, what's making the headline is the police on hand for committee terrorists, which we have already been given an update on. On other news is that there's reprieve for students seeking to join the university. This is good news because the government has lowered the minimum qualification for some courses. The biggest beneficiaries in the new guidelines are students seeking to pursue bachelor's degree courses in education, agriculture, fashion, and design, among others. The changes will see the minimum grades for mathematics lowered for some courses, or the requirements for biology or English substituted with agriculture or Swahili respectively. Other news is that Miguna was to travel back today, but this has hit a dead end as the government's red alert still remains to stand, which Regina has already said. Okay, the other one is that the king of Buruburu teachers reads foul play in his death. So there was the teacher of Buruburu Girls High School who died on Sunday, and the family is accusing the friends who are with him of, they say that they have a hand in the murder. So this, among many other stories that we'll continue to discuss.
Perfect. All right. Okay. Thank you for For that, at this point, let's take a break, and we come back. We'll be going to our next discussion. We'll be joined by Honorable David Sankok, that is nominated Member of Parliament, as well as Dr. James Nyikal, MP for Seme. Let's talk about people and politics. That is coming up after this break.